The clock on the wall glowed 2:47 a.m. My wife still wasn't home. I sat on the couch, staring at my phone screen, refreshing her location on the Find My Phone app like it owed me an explanation. Each time, the same blue dot blinked in the same place. Downtown near her office. That's where the company's annual party had been held. "Don't wait up," she'd said earlier, slipping into her black dress. The one she used to wear when we went out, back when she still looked at me like I mattered. I waited anyway. The TV was off. The apartment silent except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. My chest felt tight, my thoughts loud. It wasn't just that she was late. It was the growing familiarity of her absence, the same gnawing uncertainty that had started creeping in over the past few months. The late nights. The half-explained text messages. The sudden need for space. At 3:12 a.m., I called her again. Straight to voicemail. "Hey, it's me," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "Just checking you're okay. Call me when you can." But she didn't. By sunrise I was done waiting. Her phone was still off, her car still missing. I tried her best friend, her coworker, even her sister. None of them knew where she was. Her boss said she'd left the party around midnight. "She looked a bit tipsy," he'd added, almost apologetically. By 10 a.m. she walked through the door. Her makeup was smudged, her hair tousled, and her heels dangling from one hand. She smelled faintly of perfume, not hers. "Oh hey," she said, as if she'd just gone for a morning jog. "You're up early. Where the hell were you?" She froze for a second, just a second before composing herself. "At Maya's. I drank too much last night, so I crashed on her couch." I stared at her. "Maya called me this morning. She said she hasn't seen you in 2 weeks. Her lips parted, and for the first time she looked scared. Maybe she forgot," she said weakly. I let out a bitter laugh. Forgot that her best friend slept over. Sure. She didn't meet my eyes. She walked past me into the bedroom, tossing her shoes aside. "I don't want to argue right now, Daniel. I'm exhausted." I followed her in. "Then when? When do we talk about the fact that you've been lying to me for months?" Her silence was an answer I'd already known deep down. That night I couldn't sleep. She'd turned away from me in bed, her breathing steady, calm, too calm. I stared at the ceiling, the truth slamming into me in waves. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't even hiding it anymore. So I made a choice. If she wanted to act like I didn't matter, I'd show her what that actually looked like. The next morning I left early. I called in to work, said I'd be out for the day. Then I started piecing things together. Carefully, quietly. I remembered the name she'd mentioned once. Ethan. A new guy from her department. Young, charming, newly single. I'd seen them talking at the last company barbecue. Too close, too comfortable. A quick search through our shared laptop history confirmed what I already suspected. Hidden social media messages. Private chat threads. Photos deleted but recoverable in the cloud. And then I found the picture. It wasn't explicit. Just her, smiling at a restaurant I'd never been to, wine glass in hand. His reflection faintly visible in the window behind her. The timestamp. The night of the office workshop she'd claimed to be attending 3 weeks ago. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I forwarded everything, every message, every picture, to her work email. Her boss, HR, and half the office were CC'd. It wasn't rage. It was justice, or maybe survival. When she got to work that morning, she would face what I'd faced every night. The humiliation of being exposed. By noon, the texts started coming in. Her, "What did you do?" Her, "Daniel, please, you've ruined everything." Her, "I can explain, just please answer me." I didn't reply. Instead, I went for a drive. Nowhere in particular, just away. The city blurred past as I replayed every laugh, every lie, every quiet dinner where I'd pretended not to notice her phone lighting up beside her plate. Part of me still wanted her to call, to beg, to make it make sense. Another part, the part that had stayed up nights waiting for her, was done. By the time I came home, the apartment was silent again. Her suitcase was by the door. She was sitting on the couch, eyes red, hands trembling. "Why did you do that, Daniel?" she whispered. I stood there, calm in a way that scared even me. "Why did you?" She opened her mouth, but no words came. "You could have told me," I said softly. "You could have just said you didn't love me anymore." Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I was lonely and you stopped caring. You were always distant, always buried in work." He just listened. The honesty hurt worse than the lies. I nodded slowly. "So you found someone who made you feel seen?" She looked up desperate. "I made a mistake. Please, Daniel, I'll fix this. I'll quit, I'll cut him off." "No," I said quietly. "You don't need to fix it. I already did." Her face went pale. She understood what I meant. That night she left. No yelling. No slamming doors. Just the soft click of the lock as it turned behind her. I sat alone in the same spot where I'd waited for her the night before. The same hum of the refrigerator. The same silence, except this time it felt like peace. The messages from her kept coming for days. Apologies, promises, desperate pleas. I didn't answer any of them. She'd always said regret was worse than guilt. I wanted her to understand what that felt like. Not out of cruelty but out of closure. Weeks passed. Her company let her go after the scandal. I heard through mutual friends that she moved in with her sister for a while. Ethan had stepped back, apparently unwilling to deal with the fallout. I didn't feel satisfaction, just emptiness. The kind that follows when the storm passes and you realize you're still standing, but everything around you is gone. One evening, I found her wedding ring in the drawer where she used to keep her jewelry. I turned it over in my hand, the metal cold against my skin. It wasn't anger anymore. It was acceptance, the quiet understanding that sometimes love dies not with shouting, but with silence. A month later, she showed up at my door. She looked thinner, worn down. Her voice trembled when she said, "I just wanted to see you, to say I'm sorry. For everything." I studied her face. Familiar yet distant, like a photograph of someone I used to know. "I know," I said finally. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. Do you hate me?" I shook my head. "No. I just don't love you anymore." The words broke her more than any revenge ever could. She left without another word. That night, I sat by the window, watching the city lights flicker against the dark sky. There was no triumph, no victory, just the quiet ache of moving on. I picked up my phone, deleted her number, and finally turned off the location tracker that had kept me chained to a version of love that no longer existed. For the first time in months, I slept without waiting for her to come home. Because I knew, wherever she was now, regret had already found her. And that was enough.